What if I told you that the key to saving your garden through October's unpredictable weather is hiding in the most unexpected place? A place where everything costs just $1.25, but the impact on your garden could be worth hundreds? You'd probably think I was crazy, right? Well, stick with me for the next 15 minutes, because I'm about to blow your mind with what's possible when you know where to look. Before we dive in, let me ask you this. How many of you have ever walked through Dollar Tree and thought, there's nothing here for my garden? Drop a comment below with a simple yes or an O, because I guarantee by the end of this video, you'll never see those aisles the same way again. Welcome back to Timeless Gardening, where we turn simple ideas into beautiful results. I'm your host, and today we're heading somewhere most gardeners never think to shop for supplies, the Dollar Tree. Now listen, I've wanted those aisles more times than I can count. And here's what I've discovered. You'd be amazed how many budget-friendly items are secretly perfect for October garden challenges. But here's the thing, timing is everything. October is make-or-break time for your garden. One unexpected frost could wipe out weeks of hard work. One unprepared transition into winter could cost you your favorite plants. But what if you could protect everything, extend your harvest, and prep for next year's garden for less than the cost of a single garden center plant? Today, I'm sharing 10 game-changing items that most people walk right past at Dollar Tree. But once you know their garden secrets, you'll wonder how you ever managed without them. And I'm saving the most mind-blowing one for last. It literally saved my entire late tomato harvest last year, and it costs less than a fancy coffee. So grab that notepad, because you're going to want every single one of these. Let's dive in. But first, tell me in the comments, what's your biggest October garden challenge? Protecting plants from frost? Extending your harvest season? Or maybe you're already thinking about next year's garden. I read every comment, and I love hearing about your gardening journey. Item 1. Clear storage bins. Your mini greenhouse heroes. Now, how many of you have ever looked at a clear storage bin and thought greenhouse? Probably nobody, right? But here's where it gets interesting. Last October, I was checking the weather before bed when I saw it. An unexpected frost warning. My tender herbs and late tomatoes were about to get hit, and I had exactly zero plant protection ready. I ran to my garage, grabbed every clear storage bin I could find, and started flipping them over my plants like little protective domes. Can you guess what happened the next morning? While my neighbors were mourning their frost-damaged plants, mine were sitting pretty under their Dollar Tree protection, completely unharmed. But here's what really shocked me. Those plants didn't just survive, they thrived. The bins created perfect little microclimates that were actually better than expensive plant protection systems. And that's when I realized, clear storage bins are lightweight, transparent, and surprisingly effective at creating protective environments for your plants. But most gardeners never make this connection. What to use them for? Instant frost protection. Flip them over struggling plants when temperatures drop. Mini greenhouse seed starting for next year's garden. Protecting late harvests while still allowing light through. Creating warm microclimates for extending growing seasons. Have you ever used household items to protect your plants? Share your creative solutions in the comments. Why October is perfect. This is when Dollar Tree stocks up on storage solutions for holiday prep. The selection is at its peak right now, but here's the thing. Once November hits, these disappear fast. Don't wait. Item 2. Aluminum roasting pans, the garden workhorses. Now this next one might surprise you. When you see aluminum roasting pans, what's the first thing you think of? Holiday cooking, right? But what if I told you these humble pans could revolutionize your fall garden tasks? A master gardener friend of mine shared this secret with me 2 years ago. She was dividing her massive perennial collection, and instead of making trips back and forth with armloads of messy roots and soil, she had this shiny aluminum pans scattered throughout her garden, each one perfectly organized with different plant divisions. Here's a question for you. How much time do you waste during fall garden cleanup because you don't have the right containers in the right places? Be honest in the comments. That's when it hit me. These aren't just cooking pans. They're portable garden command centers. What to use them for? Compost tea brewing stations for liquid fertilizer. Root division catch trays for mess-free plant splitting. Bulb soaking stations to give spring bulbs a head start. soil mixing stations for custom potting blends. But here's the game changer most people miss. Poke drainage holes in the bottom, and suddenly you have the perfect extra-large seed starting trays. I'll show you exactly how to do this in a future video. Why October timing matters. Holiday baking season means full stock, but the deep ones that work best for garden use? They go fast. Grab them while you can. Item 3. Emergency blankets. Plant protection powerhouses. Alright, this next one is going to sound absolutely crazy until you see it in action. Emergency blankets. You know, those shiny space blankets? Most people think they're just for camping emergencies. But what if I told you they're secretly one of the most powerful plant protection tools you can buy? Last fall, my neighbor spent $200 on professional plant protection cloth. I spent $5 on emergency blankets from Dollar Tree. Guess whose plants look better after the first hard frost? Before I tell you why this works so well, drop a comment. Have you ever used reflective materials in your garden? I'm curious about your experiences. Here's the science behind the magic. These blankets don't just block cold. They reflect heat back to your plants. It's like giving each plant its own personal heating system. What to use them for? Frost protection that actually adds warmth, not just blocks cold. Reflecting extra light to ripen late-season tomatoes. Creating warm microclimates for extending growing seasons. Soil warming before planting cover crops. But here's where it gets really interesting. I discovered a technique using these blankets that can extend your tomato harvest by up to 6 weeks. Who wants to know that secret? Let me know in comments. Why October is crucial. Cold weather prep items are hitting shelves now. But once the first real frost hits, these will be gone. Don't wait until you need them. Hold on a second. If these Dollar Tree secrets are already surprising you, can you do me a huge favor? Smash that like button and let me know in the comments which item has shocked you the most so far. And here's what I'm curious about. Are you the type of gardener who plans ahead? Or do you usually scramble when problems hit? No judgment either way. I've been both. But I'm about to share some items that will turn you into the most prepared gardener in your neighborhood. Because the next item on our list, it's sitting in every Dollar Tree right now, costs just $1.25. But it's about to solve one of October's most frustrating garden problems. And trust me, once you see this hack, you'll be kicking yourself for not thinking of it sooner. Item 4. Rubber gloves, the unsung garden heroes. Now, I know what you're thinking. Rubber gloves? Really? That's your big revelation. But stay with me, because this is about so much more than just keeping your hands clean. How many of you have ever been in the middle of a huge garden project? Maybe pruning roses or handling compost, and you have to keep stopping to wash your hands or deal with scratches and irritation. Anyone? Drop a guilty in the comments if this sounds familiar. I used to think rubber gloves were just for delicate gardeners who didn't want to get dirty. Then I spent 3 hours planting 200 spring bulbs in October clay soil. My hands were so torn up I couldn't garden for a week. That's when I realized I was being stubborn, not tough. These simple rubber gloves transformed my October garden work from endurance test to efficient productivity. What to use them for? Rose pruning without blood sacrifice. Compost handling without worry about what you're touching. Marathon bulb planting sessions. Root vegetable harvesting without soil-stained nails. Pro tip: choose the ones with textured palms. They give you better grip on tools and wet surfaces. This small detail makes a huge difference. Question for the comments. What's the longest garden task you've ever tackled in one session? And did your hands pay the price? Item 5. Plastic drop cloths. Garden protection made simple. This next item is hiding in the paint section, but it's about to become your October garden's best friend. Plastic drop cloths. Now, before you scroll past thinking this is boring, let me tell you about the weekend that changed everything. 2 weeks ago, we had 3 days of torrential rain, followed by an unexpected heat wave. My freshly planted fall vegetables were getting hammered. I was watching years of gardening experience potentially wash away when I remembered something in my garage. Plastic drop cloths from a painting project. What happened next was like watching a garden miracle unfold. Those simple plastic sheets became instant greenhouse walls, rain protection, and soil barriers all in one. My neighbors' gardens were struggling, while mine looked like it was thriving in a controlled environment. What to use them for? Quick greenhouse construction over simple frames. Protecting soil from erosion during heavy rains. Creating clean workspace for indoor seed starting. Mulch collection stations for easy leaf cleanup. Have you ever had weather completely destroy your garden plans? Tell me your worst weather disaster story in the comments. I feel your pain. Look for the heavier mill thickness. They last longer and can be reused multiple seasons. It's the difference between one-time use and a long-term garden tool. Why October timing matters. Fall home improvement season means full stock selection, but once winter hits, you'll pay 3 times more at hardware stores. Item 6. Foam brushes, precision garden tools. Now this next one lives in the craft aisle, but it's about to solve problems you didn't even know you had. Foam brushes. Sounds boring, right? But what if I told you these little tools could be the difference between successful plant propagation and expensive failures? Professional propagators have a secret. Precision application of rooting hormones and treatments makes all the difference between cuttings that thrive and cuttings that die. But those precision tools cost $20 to $30 each. Unless you know this Dollar Tree secret. Ever tried to apply rooting hormone with your fingers or a regular brush? Half of it ends up where you don't want it. The other half doesn't get where it needs to go. Foam brushes solve this perfectly. What to use them for? Applying rooting hormone to cuttings with surgical precision. Painting tree trunks to prevent winter sun scald. Spot treating pest problems without waste. Cleaning delicate seedlings. A master propagator at our local botanical garden told me she uses these exclusively because they're more sanitary than reusable brushes and more precise than any other applicator. Who here has tried taking cuttings before? Success or disaster? Share your propagation stories, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Item 7. Clear plastic cups. Tiny greenhouse magic. Alright, this next hack is so simple you're going to think I'm crazy. But it's also so effective you're going to wonder why no one ever told you about it. Clear plastic cups. That's it. Just regular party cups. Here's a challenge for you. How do you protect individual seedlings without spending a fortune on fancy plant protectors? Most garden centers want $5 to $10 per plant protector. I'm about to show you how to do it for pennies. Last spring, I was starting seeds for fall planting, and I needed individual protection for each seedling as I transitioned them outside. I was looking at spending $200 on commercial plant protectors when I had a light bulb moment. These clear cups create perfect mini greenhouses for individual plants. You can see exactly what's happening inside. They maintain humidity and warmth, and they cost practically nothing. What to use them for? Individual plant protection during transition periods. Rooting stations for plant cuttings. Seed germination chambers with perfect visibility. Pest barriers for vulnerable plants. Pro tip: poke a few tiny holes in the top for ventilation, but not too many or you'll lose the greenhouse effect. Who's tried homemade plant protection before? What did you use? I love hearing creative solutions. Item 8. Wooden craft sticks, plant support specialists. This next item costs almost nothing, but solves dozens of small garden problems that add up to big frustrations. Wooden craft sticks. They're sitting in the craft section right now, probably being ignored by everyone except elementary school teachers. How many times have you needed just a small plant stake, or a gentle support, or a precise tool for delicate work, and everything at the garden center is either too big, too expensive, or overkill for what you need? I discovered this hack by accident when I was trying to support some delicate seedlings and couldn't find anything small enough. I grabbed a pack of craft sticks, and suddenly I had 100 perfect plant supports for $1.25. What to use them for? Supporting newly planted bulbs with custom markers. Creating biodegradable plant labels that won't rust. Gentle stem support for tender seedlings. Precise fertilizer application tools. The beauty is they're completely biodegradable. You can leave them in soil, and they'll decompose naturally. Try that with plastic stakes. At just $1 for a huge pack, you can afford to use them generously without feeling wasteful. What's the smallest garden problem that drives you crazy? Sometimes it's the little things that make the biggest difference. Item 9. spray bottles, precision watering, and care. We're getting close to the end, and this next item might seem obvious, but I guarantee you're not using spray bottles to their full potential in your garden. These simple bottles are precision instruments, disguised as basic household items. Ever tried to water delicate seedlings with a regular watering can? Half drown, half don't get enough water, and somehow you make a mess of everything. Sound familiar? October gardening is all about precision. You're working with tender new plantings, protecting existing plants, and preparing for dormancy. Regular watering tools are often too much, too little, or too imprecise. What to use them for? Misting delicate seedlings without overwatering. Foliar feeding late-season plants that need nutrient boosts. Precise pest control application. Humidity control for plants transitioning indoors. Pro tip: keep multiple bottles labeled for different uses. One for water, one for fertilizer, one for organic pest control. Never mix chemicals in the same bottle. This is especially crucial in October when you're transitioning plants indoors and need to gradually adjust their care routine. Item 10. Reflective emergency blankets, the season extenders. All right, we've reached our final item, and I saved the absolute best for last. This is the game changer that literally saved my entire late tomato harvest last year. Are you ready for this? Last October, I had 30 pounds of green tomatoes still on the vine when the first frost warning hit. Most gardeners would have given up, harvested the green tomatoes, and called it a season. But I had discovered something that changed everything. Reflective emergency blankets. But not just for frost protection, for season extension that borders on magical. I wrapped my tomato cages with these blankets, creating reflective microclimates that bounced light and trapped heat. Not only did my plants survive the frost, they kept producing ripe tomatoes for 6 more weeks while everyone else's gardens were finished. What makes this so powerful? Reflects light to ripen fruit faster, creates warm microclimates that extend growing seasons, protects from frost while maintaining plant productivity, costs less than losing a single plant to cold weather. The reflective surface bounces available light back onto your plants, essentially giving them more daylight hours, while the insulation properties keep them warm even when temperatures drop. This technique can extend your harvest season by 4 to 6 weeks, turning October from the end of your garden into just another productive month. Why you need these now? Once the first hard frost hits, it's too late. These need to be in place before you need them. Wow, we've just covered 10 incredible Dollar Tree finds that could completely transform your October garden game. But here's what I want to know. Which of these items surprised you the most? Drop a comment and let me know. Are you team clear storage bins for plant protection? Or maybe you're excited about those aluminum pan organization systems? Or did the emergency blanket season extension blow your mind? Here's a fun challenge. I want you to go to Dollar Tree this week and grab just one of these items. Then come back and tell me how it worked in your garden. Let's create a community of creative, budget-conscious gardeners. Think about this. Everything we talked about today costs less than a single plant at most garden centers, but could save you hundreds of dollars in plant losses and extend your growing season by weeks. And if you try any of these hacks, take a picture, tag me on Instagram, or share in our Facebook group. I love seeing these tips in action in real gardens. Before you go, remember this. Gardening isn't about having the most expensive tools or perfect conditions. It's about creativity, resourcefulness, and working with what you have to create something beautiful. You don't need to spend a fortune to be a successful gardener. You just need to see possibilities where others see ordinary items. So whether your garden is thriving containers on a balcony or acres of landscape, you have everything you need to protect it, extend it, and prepare it for next year. And it's all waiting for you at Dollar Tree. If this video helped you see Dollar Tree with new eyes, smash that like button, subscribe for more budget gardening secrets, and ring that notification bell so you never miss our latest tips. Next week, I'm sharing my complete guide to winterizing your garden for under $20 using only Dollar Tree supplies. Trust me, you won't want to miss it. Until next time, keep growing, keep creating, and remember, the best gardens are grown by gardeners who see possibility everywhere. Happy gardening, friends.